Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be opening up the Wave of Light structure deck. Now, I know I'm a little late to the party, but mine just came in the mail and I got around to getting them. I wasn't super excited about this deck, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play counter fairies like they were originally intended back in the day with Bountiful Artemis. But I not only got one, not even two, but I got three of these Wave of Lights. The reason I waited to get them is because I got them for a deal on eBay. I usually do that. I wait to buy my decks, like the Waves of Light and the structure decks like that, because I know they're going to go down in price a little bit. This deck actually has some pretty good reprints though, so we're going to get into that in this video. So without further ado, let's pop this bad boy open and see what we get. Now I will say a notable card that they really should have reprinted in this is Card of Demise. Now this card is notably one of the best cards in the counter fairy deck, and you need 3 copies of this. Luckily I have 3 copies of this already, but if you don't have 3 copies of this, you can still play counter fairies, but it would help to be able to pick up 3 copies of Cards of Demise to help you draw a couple of cards to help your deck go off. So without further ado, let's get straight on to this. Before we get into this though, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check down in the description below for my Patreon account, and if you can, help me out a little bit. So here we go. Let's get straight on into this. So this deck is kind of like an ode to the Parashaft cards of back in the day during GOAT format. I know a lot of people are excited about that because Parashaft has finally got kind of his own little tie-in with an archetype to make it a really good card. And it helps the deck. It helps fairies be more consistent. Now, I really like the way that they did the beginner's guide this time, where they actually put like the main monster on the front of it so you know which deck you're getting. It kind of advertises a little bit better. We all kind of know what it did. I like that they changed it to actually a monster that's in the deck. And they kind of changed the beginner's guide around to help you out understand the game a little bit better. I'm probably going to carry this with me from time to time just to kind of read it just for fun. I don't know. I can't wait for the Curse of Darkness one. Like, I am so excited for Curse of Darkness. But then you get a game mat, and we're going to lay this down for while we're going through Wave of Light. This one's pretty good. I like this one. I like how it's got the Valkyrie on it, and it's got the new Parashaft card on it. Like, it's pretty nice, being honest. Let's see. There we go. That looks good. And I'm actually recording in a different area now. I was recording in my office, but I actually got a desk that's really nice in my room, and now I'm recording in my room, which is nice. So now all my decks and playmats and stuff, they're right next to me, so I can just reach over and grab what I need. So, anyways, let's pop this bad boy open and we'll get straight on into it. So we get one of the new cards, Eva. This card's really interesting too. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can kind of see what we've got. So with Eva, it says, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 2 light fairy monsters from your field and or graveyard. Add the same number of level 2 or lower light fairy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand except Eva. You can only use the effect of Eva once per turn. This card's actually kind of interesting. It doesn't tie in with the archetype that much. I mean, it just ties in with basic fairy support, and it's kind of neat. Very interesting. I could see some nutsy plays with this, and it helps you get some more fairies. Now, here's the big man himself. Now, we're going to lay out the new cards up here. I'm only going to go through the new cards to kind of read off what they do. This one is Sacred Arcanite Parashaft. This card's really cool. If you activate a counter trap, or if you negate the activation of a spell or trap card or monster effect, except during the damage step, you can banish 2 other fairy monsters from your hand, field, or grave and special summon him from the grave. If it was there when you activate or negate the card, or from the hand even if not. If this card attacks advances, your monster inflicts piercing damage just like the original Parashaft, and that's kind of been all the Parashafts. And when this card inflicts damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Parashaft card or counter trap from your deck to your hand. Which is kind of neat because he kind of searches, like, he literally searches Solemn Strike, which is another card that you kind of need for this. Then we play Power Angel Valkyrie, or Valkyria. This is kind of like Doname Dark Witch, and it has the same base stats as Doname Dark Witch. And if you negate the activation of a spell or trap or monster effect, add 1 light fairy monster from your deck to your hand, which is kind of neat. And this kind of plays into a bunch of other, like, fairy decks that you can actually play this in. I've even thought about mixing agents with this to see what I could do with it. Then you get the new Sanctum of Parashaft, and this is the reason that I've thought about mixing agents with this, is this card's name becomes the Sanctuary in the Sky while on the field or in the graveyard, which is just another fairy deck that utilizes the Sanctuary in the Sky. Fairy monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense, and set spell or trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by or cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, which is great. And once per turn, you can target a total of 3 fairy monsters or counter traps with different names in your graveyard and place them on top of your deck in any order. So you can literally put back Solemn Strikes and stuff, and that's just nuts. So you really only need to play like 2 of each counter trap at any time. Like this is essentially a normal summon 1, set 5, pass deck. Like that's what this does, is normal summon, set 5, pass. Or Ties of the Brethren, set 5, pass. Like that. I mean, that's the whole point. Then you get Rebirth of the Parashaft, which is when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, reveal 1 counter trap in your hand, then discard 1 card, pay 1,000 life points, negate the activation if you do destroy it. And if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. Don't destroy it. And then you special summon 1 Parashaft monster from your deck or extra deck. This card makes the Synchro Parashaft nuts. Makes it really, really good. And then the last new card that we have is Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. Each time a counter trap is activated immediately after it resolves, this card gains 500 attack, and if it does, and the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you get to add a counter trap with a different name from your deck graveyard to your hand. So it kind of like cycles into the new ones. So this card is really, really good, and is at least a 1 of, if not a 2 or 3 of in the deck. I would probably play it at 2 just looking at it. If I'm going to play Ties of the Brethren and Card of Demise in the deck. So then we get Neo Parashaft, the Sky Paladin. That's an old card. Then we get the old Air Knight Parashaft. Oh my god. I remember this card back in the day when I first started playing. Inflicts piercing damage and then you get to draw a card. Then we get Sage of the Sky, which is pretty good. Harvest Angel of Wisdom. That card's going to be at least a 1 of for me. Bountiful Artemis, that's what makes this deck good. Each time a counter trap is activated immediately after it resolves, you draw a card. Layard, the Liberator, Guardian Ariadne. This card makes it where you don't have to pay for your counter traps at all, so it like gives you them for free. You get a Archlord Christie, which to me looks weird as a common. Like I just like my super ones. Splendid Venus, that's really good. Athena, I actually tried to play around this with Dark Lords, which was interesting. You Goddess of Light, again, another card that I tried to play around with Dark Lords. I actually play this in Dark Lords, which is Heraclius, I think. You get the Duo card. You get Nova Summoner, which is pretty good. You get an Honest, which is going to be a 3 of in this deck. Herald of the Orange Light. That might be a 1 of. I don't know. I don't think you play that in this deck. You get Herald of the Green and the Purple Light, so you get all the Heralds. All you need is Herald of Perfection now. If they would have put Herald of Perfection and Manju in this deck, it would have been nuts. That would have been crazy. Guiding Light. This card's a little interesting, actually. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 1 light monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is neat. It kind of gets you into link plays easy. Then you get a DD Sprite, which I think that's the first time it's ever been reprinted. Hanawada! You get the Sanctuary in the Sky, which is a nice reprint. I might play that as a 1 of in the deck. I don't really know yet. Cards from the Sky, Celestial Transformation, Valhalla, very notable reprint. Ties of the Brethren, needed a reprint. I might buy more of these because the ones that I have right now are in Magical Muskets. But these are definitely going to go in my counter fairies. Light of Judgment, that's a good card. Miraculous Descent, that's a good card. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Divine Punishment, awesome card. Dark Bribe, Solemn Warning was nice. Ultimate Providence, that's a good card. Drastic Drop-Off, that's a pretty good card. Recall, and then you get a token in here too. Now, I actually use these Duel Link cards as proxies sometimes, or I use them as my tokens. I just really like these Duel Link cards. I really think this deck is going to be interesting. I think it's super budget. I really think they missed an opportunity, though, that they didn't reprint Solemn Strike. Like, they could have not put, like, I don't know, Light of Judgment, or maybe even, like, Drastic... I don't know, Drastic Drop-Off was a pretty needed reprint. Like, I don't think they've ever reprinted that. I don't know, they could have, like, dropped something out of here to put that one copy of Solemn Strike and put like the Solemn Brigade in here, because it's a card that you're gonna need at least 2 of to play this deck. And so I think it's a missed opportunity, and they would have sold a lot more of these decks because everybody would have wanted that 1 copy of Solemn Strike. I know I would have bought like a case of these if it had Ties of the Brethren and Solemn Strike in it, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. I have to comment on one thing that I think is weird, though. I think that it's weird that they put Eva on the top instead of Sacred Knight Parashaft. Like, when you pop the box open and you look down and you get Eva, it's like, what is that? And then you flip over and it's like, oh, there's Sacred Arc Knight Parashaft. Okay, there's the cover card. But anyways, guys, this is Dark Armed Duelist. I'm really excited. I'm going to build this deck. I'm going to be working on it actually a little bit tonight, and I should have a profile of it up pretty soon. I don't know exactly when I'll have it up, but anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys around. Later, guys.